Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. I'm Nick Smith. Let me ask you this question. What would you do if you lost your health, your mobility, and your family all before you were done fighting? You're going to want to watch this episode because we're going to dive deep today. Good morning, Giants. Welcome back to Wake Up with Giants TV. It's been a minute since we've done a live episode, and what I love about these is that they are raw. So, however it goes, it goes. You're welcome to share your comments across the screen here, so I'll pull those up as you comment. A little bit of housekeeping. I just want to invite you over. If you haven't been to our website in a minute, you need to go to my12journeys.com. If you're looking to be a guest on a podcast, you've got a story or experience that you need to share. We're looking for guests right now. You can come over to Wake Up with Giants. Let me pull this up on the screen so you can see where to go to be a guest. So you will go to Wake Up with Giants or my12journeys.com/wake up guest. You'll see that right here on the screen. And then you just click that button there. It'll take you to a form that you'll fill out. You'll upload your imagery, pick your date in the calendar, and we'll get you on as a guest. There's a ton of useful information on here. So if you go to My 12 Journeys right on the homepage, you can explore the journeys and what they're about. They're all based on this book, The Giants and the Smalls, which was written, I think we got it published in 2020. It's a phenomenal book. It's about your inner world. It's how to live your giant life. And one thing that I've been working on is this is my 7th published book. And the newest one, the newest release is this little guy right here, Sowing Seeds. So what you plant into the world, you're surely going to sow. You're going to want to read that to your kids, grandkids, school children. This is a message that teaches us that what we put out into the world is what's going to come back to us. So go to Amazon and grab that Sowing Seeds. It just got released. You can also grab all of these other books on there as well at under Nicholas Townsend Smith as the author. And you'll find a way to build and develop that inner giant that all of us have. We got an incredible guest today. I'm going to introduce her real quick. Ryan Morris is traveling, so he won't be on. And I'll do my best like a one-man band to try and get everything to show up on the screen here. But let me introduce our guest. So today's episode is about something every single one of us will face at some point, adversity. So whether it's illness or loss or a diagnosis that feels like a life sentence, the question isn't if we'll face hardship, it's who we become because of it. Our guest today was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at 32 and told she wouldn't likely live past 40. She endured blindness, 6 years in a wheelchair, and later the devastating loss of her husband and son within just 7 months. And yet she's still here, thriving, leading, inspiring. She's helped raise millions for scholarships, built a successful real estate career, and now empowers others to rise beyond their impossible. If you've ever wondered how to transform grief into purpose, this conversation is for you. So please join me in a massive welcome to Cindy Oppel. It's good to have you here.
It's good to be here, Nick. Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. We're going to dive into your journey. And I always like to go back to the beginnings. You know, in our program, in our 12 journeys, we talk about the non-conscious world and how we develop and our identity and who we think we are. And a lot of that is influenced by culture and society and family and our own experiences. And I would love for you to just kind of look at your pathway that got you to where you are today and just briefly tell us, like, who did you think you were and what shifted you into who you are today? And that's a lot to answer, but we'll do our best here.
So it just went. I'll tell you that aha moment for me was when I was in the hospital, and prior to getting to the hospital, I talked to my mom in Utah, and I sounded drunk, and I don't drink, and she thought I was having a stroke. Told me to
Mm.
go to the hospital, and I said I'll go tomorrow if I don't feel well. In the middle of the night, I heard a loud voice. Go now, and I roll over my bed, and I says, "Nah, I'll go tomorrow." I heard it again 5 minutes later, go now, really loud. And so I drove myself an hour to the hospital from Pennsylvania, where we live, into New Jersey. And I got there, and within 45 minutes, the neurologist came in and I was completely paralyzed. They put me in the hospital. Next day, I went blind. And 3 days of testing, they came to me and said, I had it so severe, it hit my optic nerve, my brain stem, my spinal cord, and my cerebrum, and that my likelihood of living past 40, I wasn't going to make it. So I just remember crying myself to sleep that night. And I
Hmm.
just said, why? To God, me, it was God. Why me? Why? Why? In the same voice in the middle of the night came to me softer this time and said, why not? I, the Lord God, have more faith in you than you have in yourself. And that moment of time, I said to myself, it's not true. I kept a vision of me walking and talking again. I knew that that was not my fate. So I envisioned myself. I lived it. I had to live it to accept it. And that
Hmm.
became my reality. That was my turning point
That was your
right
turning
then.
point. Yeah, and prior to that, life's going pretty normal. Not much is happening, right? Is that the
No,
case?
no, no. So I had 4 kids. My
Okay.
husband was going through his second kidney transplant because he was born at 36 years old. He had with 4 little kids, he had a diagnosis of a hereditary kidney disease that killed his kidney. So we were struggling, going through all that adversity, and I just knew that I had to overcome it because I had to take care of him and my kids, and it was a very stressful time.
Yeah.
I've
So,
learned since then that 85% of our chronic diseases are linked to stress.
hmm,
And that's a big factor for everybody. We have to learn to manage that part of our life, or it will
it's
manage us.
it will, right? And so it can overwhelm our bodies, and then we're reacting from there. So for our viewers here, somebody's probably going through some stressful situation right now
Right.
and facing it and looking at it and thinking, this is too overwhelming. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can keep going. Um, and what would you say to somebody in that situation that's just facing the intensity of life?
So it's like you talk about your book about you plant seeds in your life, right? We have
Yeah.
dreams and desires. We plant the seed and we get disappointed in life because things happen. Life is stressful no matter what we have. So we end up not being true to ourselves, and we end up pulling that hope and the inspiration up. We planted the seed, but we have no faith and hope that it's going to happen. So we have to learn to manage that and just trust and God will do the how. We have to know the how. Yeah.
Do you think it's pretty normal that people are going to doubt or have kind of a despair around things not being able to see what's going to happen next?
Well, that's our human nature. I have
Okay.
it all the time. And I'll tell you right now, you have got to be faithful to your vision of your wish fulfilled. Because if you give up and have that mindset that or that doubt, like it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You are what you think and feel. When you think the thought or you say something, you become it.
Mm,
So words are very, very powerful. One positive, oh, happy moment, and you have one doubt, it counteracts all the tons of positive you've done. Put you
okay.
in a groundhog motion. You have the same thing going over and over again, so we can't break free. And so I know that silence is a key. For me, it is because your mind has so much commotion around in the world today that we don't really think. We're not present in the present moment. When we think of the past,
Yeah.
we think of the past, like when I miss my husband, my son, I think of the past in the present moment. When you think of our future, of what we really want, our dreams and desires, and health and wealth, and all the things we want, we're thinking of that in the present moment. So, what does that tell us? We only really have the present moment. We need to be present in the present moment.
Okay. I'm going to
What I
challenge
do
you.
when I'm stressed,
Yeah.
you've got to go. I go for a walk, go for nature. You got to de stress yourself and think, silence your mind. You really got to. I have a really big practice where few hours before bed. No phone, no computer, because that's blue light. What does blue light do? Blue light floods your body with inflammation, causes you not to sleep as much because you have all the inflammation, arthritis, all this. A lot of diseases are caused by inflammation. So you really have to declutter your life of things that are blocking you from living your true potential.
I want to challenge you here a little bit. So when you say, what you think about is going to show up in the world, and that can be very defeating for people, hearing this. And I'm not opposed to the idea here. It's that to manage that intense emotion. Let's say that you've got despair or life's not going your way, you're feeling frustrated. And then to hear, well, what you're thinking you're creating, which is a truth,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
At the same time, they might not be equipped to handle that intensity of the emotion, right? And then they hear that defeating message, well, what you're thinking you're creating. So when you talk about really managing the present moment as it is, one of the tools that we use is acceptance, acknowledging what is without resigning to it, but acknowledging that life is challenging right now, acknowledging that life is not going the way I want it to right now.
Right.
In that acceptance, we find that it releases the pressure of that thing that's going on. It doesn't mean it's gone or that the emotions aren't there. It's just that your attachment to it is now relenting. Can you speak to that? How does somebody, especially in a situation like yours where it's so intense, how do they manage those emotions so that they can get present?
So it's a practice. You have to have repetition. Your mind is a organism that repetition is so important for you to have what you need. So what I do is you have to practice it. So I constantly have to, because everything happens, right, in life.
Mhm.
So as things happen, thoughts come in your mind and you're, oh, all these things you have to do and all these bad negative thoughts. You have to notice what you're noticing every moment of the day. And a couple times a day, like every hour, I tried in the beginning, I did every hour. I would sit quietly and envision my life fulfilled, my wish that I want, my what I'm manifesting my life to be like in mind, spirit, and body. And just this is what I want. This is my
Mhm.
journey, and this is what I really want in my life. And I would do it. And the key of the whole process is I figured it out. It's emotion. You have to be emotionally attached to your wish, which means your senses. You have to feel it. You have to embody it for it to come to you. If you have doubt, it blocks it. So you have to notice that. And I just simply say, nope, I'm not going there. This doesn't serve me. And in my mind, I said, I'm going to my wish fulfilled. So you're
Mm.
physically in your mind, you go to your place and you dream your dream. And you have to constantly do that. And it's a practice. I'll be driving in the car and you have to do it. Wherever you're at, just take time for you to do that. And it will be a practice that brings you peace. Silence is where it happens. You have to silence all the noise and all the stuff around you, or else you get defeated.
So I hear in the practice of it, it's catching it, being aware of it. So our second journey in the 12 journeys is awareness. The first one is the non-conscious patterning, right?
Yeah.
And then we go into grief or the emotions of it, the heavier emotions, and then you go into acceptance. So these are part of our root journeys. But the idea here is that when you notice that you're going or spiraling into those patterns, is to first recognize that you're doing it. And maybe you can help me with this and clarify your view of this, is to recognize you're doing it, regulate the emotions of your body in the best ways that you can. A
Right.
lot of people that's breathing or meditating, find that peace, but also challenge it. Accept that it's happening without judging yourself further, but challenge it of, I'm not going there. I'm not going to do that today. We're going to go to my dream fulfilled.
I also rewrite. If I have something happen in my life I regret, you can rewrite it. It
Mm,
doesn't mean you change the history of it and what's done, but in your mind, your subconscious, you've rewritten it to what you want it to be, and that becomes your acceptance of it. That's your peace. It
yeah.
doesn't come back up because it doesn't hold any merit to it.
And is that really the acceptance? Is it no longer has the effect on you? Or does it take practice to get to that point where you can accept it?
Absolutely practice. I mean,
Yeah.
when I to go through what I've gone through is just I had many days when I was in my wheelchair. I mean, I had 4 little kids. I had to fold laundry, I had to fold it with one hand 'cause
Mm,
I didn't have my whole side. I slept in my electric wheelchair. I had to drive my kids up to the store. I had to do all kinds of things in my electric wheelchair. I learned an important concept is that we all have a journey in life. We're all in different boats, but we're in the same water, the same projection, the same end game. So I've learned is to be mindful of my surroundings. When you're mindful of your other people around you, your problems don't become as big because other people have it worse than you do.
mm,
When I lost my son, he was only 26 years old. He had a drug overdose in rehab, sober living. He was doing really well, and I thought he was doing great. And as a mom, I took it personally because I thought I did something wrong. But when my mom went to the cemetery, Matt wanted to be buried by family. About a month before he died, he said to my mom, he says, "Grandma, I don't want to be cremated. I want to be buried by family." Just out of the blue, he was talking. So my mom went to the cemetery, Norm Cemetery, and got a plot. It was farther away from my husband, down a way, and she told him what Matt's wishes were. And the Saxon at the cemetery said, call my mom the week before the funeral and says, "Hey, I opened up the sprinkler line. I got him on the same row as your
no
husband."
way.
I mean, it
Oh,
was just a
wow.
sheer miracle. Things that happened. But I
Yeah.
just know that he also told my mom that the week before Matt died, a mother, and this is what helped me in my grief, a mother had two sons overdose. The one son saw his brother die in front of him, and he took an extra hit and died himself. So I couldn't imagine having two sons.
Holy
So
cow.
there's always a silver lining in everything we have in life. We have to look for the good. We have to just trust that what we have is an experience and what we think. So at that moment, I was grateful for my blessings because that becomes my reality. If I'm negative, I receive negative.
Yeah.
So if I try and turn things around and just even it's not faking it, you have to really believe it in your core. Mind play is important for me because when you physically see it and you're there, your mind, as you already have it, you're grateful you have it. Your mind's a machine will make it happen. So
Mm.
your mind has imagination and real life. When you imagine your life in all senses and you live it and you're there and you're grateful and you're present in that present moment of living it and having it all becomes your reality. Your mind will make it happen.
So the
And that's the
brain,
magic.
yeah, it can't tell the difference between reality and imagination.
No.
Same with pain. Emotional pain and regular pain register the same in the body. They're processed by the same receptors, which is
Right.
so interesting, right? So here's the challenge though. Um, when you're in the emotion, and your body is taken over by the intensity of those emotions. And grief is one of the more intense. Somebody called it a catastrophic failure of prediction. So your ability to see what's going to happen next consistently that you've had for so long is now shattered, and you can no longer go down that pathway. And so it drums up all these chemical responses in the body. And then those neural pathways that we built that used to be so accessible are no longer accessible, and people are unable, they get stuck in that
Yeah.
cycle of just revisiting the grief
The
and
cycle, the cycle loop. Yep.
not moving forward. And so, how I love to go into the hows a little bit here is what would you say to somebody that's stuck in those cycles that really feels like, I am so stuck where I'm at. I don't see hope. I don't have visions for a future. Every time I think of something, I feel frustrated or despairing, like it's not going to happen. What could you say to them?
So when I was going through all my grief and all my struggles, I remember the lesson I had way back in Sunday school one time. It was on time.
Hmm.
For every 1,000 Earth years is roughly one day of heaven. And I thought to myself, if I live to be 100, I'm here for lunch.
Okay.
So I guess I have to put my
Yeah.
bootstraps on. I can do lunch. That's
Yeah.
not a problem. So it's all perspective. If you just step back, if you're in a situation where you just feel so lost in hopelessness,
Yeah.
go hug a tree. Why? Because a tree has all the negative ions from the atmosphere and will help you regenerate your life. I feel a lot better if you're just in nature. If you just do what you love and just downgrade and talk to yourself. And
Yeah. Start reconnecting in some form, right?
yeah, exactly. And you really need to focus on it's a three-legged stool: mind, spirit, and body, and my mind. You've got to have a connection. So if your antenna is broken, one part of your body is not there. It's like receiving a radio signal and it's a fuzzy signal because your antenna is broken. So your body has to be there. You got to have your sleep. You got to have your mindfulness. You can't just have a broken body and receive the hope you need. You got to be receptive to it. So you really
Yeah.
have to focus on you because you're the only one that's going to take care of you the way you know it's best.
Yeah. Um, I love this because we're going to blend worlds here. I tend to
Yeah.
focus on the empirical, the evidential, the scientific, and not excluding anything philosophical or spiritual. Is I think they all blend together. But
Well, they do.
as process, well, yeah, I think it was ingrained in us to be able to do this, and so with the 12 journeys, we give language to that process. And it's a lot of people get really hard on themselves over where they're at. They think, "Oh, I should be beyond this now." Other people say it. They say, "Why are you still grieving?" And somebody's grief journey is their own, but others can be really challenging because maybe they move on quickly or move forward quickly, and others are really stuck in it. And so giving yourself grace for where you're at is a big thing, not adding
Yeah.
additional harm. My favorite definition of forgiveness is to not cause additional harm, but to just give yourself room without extra judgment.
Right. You also have to forgive yourself. I mean, forgiving others is key, but for
Hmm.
you to go on. But forgiving yourself is our biggest crutch. I think we have. We judge ourselves so harshly.
So hard, right?
Yeah. So if we have to just really give it up.
Yeah.
We
So
don't have
let
to
it.
know the how.
Okay.
We always our minds want to know the how because we always have to have a plan, right?
Hmm.
And so we're like, we can't give it up because we don't know how. It's so scary. So it makes us more stressed because we're afraid. Yeah. If we don't have a plan, like, well, what's going to happen? Trust in your vision. Trust that it will manifest and will come to you, and let it go.
One thing I've learned here, and this is really important, is that vision. So we're going to jump into that. But until somebody is regulated in their body, it's really hard to learn anything new or vision something new when your body is dysregulated. So it's primary to take care of the body first.
Right.
The sympathetic state where we're in fight or flight,
Hmm.
that is where our brain shuts down and we're not getting the full load of the brain and the body in that case to create. And so our
Right.
primary responsibility is to take care of the body first and then step into visioning and creating. And sometimes visioning is the way out. Like having a dream while you're in an unregulated state can sometimes bring hope, right? And that hope will get you to see a brighter future and know you're the one that's going to create it. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Well, I think our actions and our feelings create our responses, right? So if we have a vision of being healthy, our actions will reflect that because our subconscious will make healthier choices
Mm,
as we're going through life. And I just think being conscious and aware of where we're at and going forward in our mind of what we really want makes a
mm.
big difference.
Being gentle where you're at,
Yeah.
right? Let's talk about vision. We look at vision as a future event. It's something that hasn't happened yet. Uh, Catherine Lee, who was on our show, talked about vision being a memory of things yet to be. So we have a memory before it's an actual event.
Right.
And Lydia Nibley talked about the same thing, saying that it's a pre-membering. And when
Is
it
that
comes to, yeah, go ahead.
No, it's already been created. So what we put out there has already been created, and we're just redoing it. It's
Mm.
already we don't have to rehash it because it's already created for us.
Tell me about your visioning process. How do you go from, and especially from going from such intense grief and loss and change in your life, how did you step into visioning from that space? What was it that really led you down that pathway of visioning, and what does visioning look like for you?
So I really think we have to really learn that it's a process. Like where I'm at now was totally different than where I was at a couple of years ago when I was going through all this.
Okay.
And now we have to gradually learn and develop ourselves because everything I am today, I wasn't, and I'm going to be better even tomorrow.
Hmm.
So we have to not hold ourselves to one little container because it's a big, big thing. And just envision. So my biggest thing with envisioning is I realized that the time in the hospital, that was the second time. And actually I'm getting ready to write a book. And so my first time I was thinking, when I was 7 or 8 years old, back in the day, there's a March of Dimes where you do the walkathon. They had the
Yeah.
big kickoff party. They have it. We had a classic roller skating room,
Okay.
and we had dirt hills by my house. I didn't have very much when I was growing up. We had stuff we needed, but I really wanted the grand prize.
Okay.
Honda
Yeah.
50 Junior motorcycle. I just wanted that motorcycle to ride in the dirt hills.
Yeah.
And so I did. Now I know what it was. I didn't know I had that ability and what I was doing. But I went to the back, and everyone's in the front, and they're calling names for the other prizes. And the grand prize is coming up, and I'm like, they're calling my name. Cindy Eastman was my maiden name. They're calling my name, and I was just envisioning myself running up there. I'm a winner. I'm a winner, and the emotion solidified that in my mind so hard that I won the motorcycle.
Really.
So emotion's the key. You have to feel it. You have to feel every bit of it. You have to ingrain it in your body. And I was little. I didn't know any better. And that was the first time everyone said I was lucky. But it's not luck. It's emotion will solidify your wish fulfillment.
Yeah.
So now, as I'm thinking of in the hospital when I said it wasn't true, it took 6 years in a wheelchair to really see my vision come true. It
Mm.
took longer. I was older. I didn't have that that mindset of a child that really believed in like in sunlight. You really believe something. And that's what we had to go back to is our roots of really believing within ourselves, our gut feeling it and believe it. Because that emotion solidified that for me. And that's the key. So now I'm on a journey. I just know my direction. So whatever I have in my mind, I know it's coming true. I don't know the time frame, but it's got to come true. It's got to manifest because my vision, your mind will make it happen. At some point in time, it's got to meet up. It will be true and valid. I love the story of Jim Carrey. I don't know if you know about his
Yeah.
story.
Please share it for the video. I do, but
So Jim Carrey, from what I remember, in 1985, before he became famous, he was a struggling actor. He was even homeless at one time, but he wrote himself a check for $10 million. And no actor had been paid $10 million for an acting job. But he wrote
mm,
himself this check for $10 million for acting job. And every night he'd go above the Hollywood Hills and the Mulholland Drive, and he'd vision himself in the producer's office, and he was like having conversation. He was living it live. Now it took time, but that became manifested. He wrote the check for Thanksgiving in 1995. And right before that check, he's in the director's office signing a check for guess what movie? Dumb and Dumber.
okay. Yeah. It's a
So
great movie.
yeah. So I just know. I mean, it comes in and will make it. Your mind will put people in your place. Or line things up. You just have to be coherent and listen
Okay, so
and
here's what I
trust.
wanna do
Yeah.
for the viewer. So, looking at the word trust,
Yeah.
um, biblically, it was, belief, and it was changed from the Greek pistis, which means to trust, and the word trust means a confident expectation. And so when we trust something, we have a confident expectation that it's going to come to be. And even if we have a little bit of a lack of trust, we're not committed to fully trusting. We just have to have enough trust to see it come to fruition. And part of that trusting is feeling the emotion of it. So when somebody's stuck in the emotion of frustration or sadness or grief or anxiety or depression or all these heavy, heavy emotions, and they're looking at their vision, but they're feeling where they're at currently. And they're looking at that. And there's a bridge. We've got to create a bridge between that and that visioning that you're talking about. Because for some people, they're kind of like the father in the Bible that says, I believe, I have trust in you, but I don't trust you. So you're going to have to help the parts where I don't trust you, right?
Right.
There's a lot of people that are saying that look, I trust in my vision, but I have a lot of doubts. I have a lot of frustrations. My life isn't going that way.
So use your weapon. Guess what you have?
Go
You
ahead.
have your thoughts and your words. So what I
Mm,
do is I just say or I think, nope, that's not working for me. I put it in a separate spot and I says, I'm going to my wish fulfilled. I'm going there now.
mm,
Immediately just block it off and just go to your state of your wish fulfilled and live it. Constantly, whenever those things come in your life, those doubts, block it, put it away and say, nope. Physically say, nope, that's not doing me any good right now. I'm going to my state of my wish fulfilled. I'm going there now. When you say I'm going there now, is an action, right? You
mm.
I am is in the Bible, so it's a command. So it's
Yeah.
got force to it. So you're like, I am going there now. So
Mm,
therefore you have for me it just works because a lot of things pop up in your life and you have bad people that come in your life, they have bad energy or situations or might say something to you and you're like, oh, you might take it personal. Block it in your mind and just say, no, I'm not, it's not true. I'm going to my state of my wish fulfilled and go there now and
yeah.
live it and think of the thing of where you're at. Like, are you on a beach in Hawaii, a new home? Are
Mm.
you living your dream? Live your dream and your dream will become your reality. It absolutely
Go there
has
now.
to go there now because it absolutely has to be manifested to you because your mind doesn't know any different. So
Mm.
train your mind to be what you want it to be.
That word right there is the key. Train it.
Yeah, you have persistency. It's not going to do if it's like if you the farmer, if you plant the seed and you dig back up and plant the, you have to put in there and trust it, leave it there and just block it, let it grow. Don't disturb it, let it grow. And you
Yeah.
let it grow by feeding, by watering, by doing your simple thing and letting it grow by saying, no, I'm going to my and just live it, you let it grow.
I love this. You're hitting on our 12 journeys here because our first 6 journeys are all the root, the inner work of who you think you are and what you say. And just because you have a thought doesn't mean that you have to continue having that thought. We
No,
have 50,000 thoughts a day, and 70% are negative thoughts because our body's seeking for survival and protection and energy conservation.
right.
But when you have that thought to challenge it, say, no, 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 I'm not going there. We
Well,
are allowed to challenge it, right?
that's the cool thing is we have the power. We can flip it, but our
Mm,
old self that is our dying old self that doesn't
mm.
want to give up that state and doesn't want you going to your new state of your new life. Doesn't want to give it up, so it's doing all it can to have you hang on to what you had before. A lot of times, a lot of our limiting beliefs came to us were ingrained before we were 7 as
Mhm.
children. The lack, I don't have any money. Money's evil. I don't do well in relationships. All
Yeah,
those things that we were taught or something happened, the trauma like you're talking about, those were things that happened in our brain. Doesn't mean that we have to be that. That's the
yeah,
whole thing. Because we can rewrite our whole thing.
we can. We
We
can
can
at any point.
any point we have a clean slate. And the cool thing is if we're bombarded and we're challenged in any circumstance, we can simply just stop it, block
Mm,
it, and say it because it comes more power. Our mind will do it because it has more power to it. So that's why I verbally say it or think it. Thinking is great, but saying it as more command, nope, it's not
I
doing me
think
well.
I think this is the key. So when you read this book, The Giants and the Smalls, I mean, that's essentially it is no matter the programming that was in there that makes you feel small or insignificant, You're always giantness is
Yep.
always accessible at any age, at any stage. You have the ability to stop the old programming, challenge the old programming, start practicing the new programming, and then rewire your brain because the brain doesn't want to change. It's
Well,
all
not
about
only
conserving energy.
not only rewrite it, but not even rewiring your brain. You can rewrite circumstances that you don't
Mm.
like in your life, because that becomes when you don't give the feeling and you have a different feeling towards it, then your mind focuses differently on it. The whole
Mm.
situation changes.
So you change your narrative of whatever happened to you. You have the right to change the narrative to that story.
Anytime, anytime. And that right there is your power.
Mm.
And that gives you hope. So no matter how hopeless you feel, knowing that you have the power to change it anytime is invigorating. I mean, it just gives the whole world to you. That you can be anything you want to be.
And I love that. There's a song that I listen to. It's called "Be," and it's about that. You can be who you want to be. You can be whatever you see. Anything in
You
this
know,
world that makes you happy, right?
one of my favorite quotes is by C.S. Lewis.
Yeah,
You can't change your beginning, but you can start where you are and change your ending.
I like that. I
You
like
have the
that.
power. So it
Yeah,
doesn't matter how your family grew up or your circumstances. You want to be wealthy and use and don't think of money. Money is a currency.
yeah,
The money is energy. So if you have like a negative thought of energy of money, then it's not going to flow to you. If you want to have money and have abundance and have no worries, why would you block it from coming to you? It's
mm,
a vessel. Don't be afraid of having wealth because maybe you're going to be a entrepreneur, a philanthropist that can change the world, change
yeah.
everyone's life. I mean, so don't change your limiting belief, your assumption. You have to assume that you're in that state right now.
I'm gonna
So
bring
assume it.
in, yeah, I'm gonna bring in the currency idea and then also the growth journeys here because currency it means flow, a current,
Yeah,
like it
yeah,
flows. But I want to talk about the growth journeys here, which is uncertainty, abundance, vision, surrender, and nurture. Those are the five growth journeys. And uncertainty is just simply the not known yet, right? And Nassim Nicholas Taleb talks about uncertainty as the most important human pursuit, that moving forward with incomplete information is the highest and most noble human pursuit. And he talks about anti-fragility because a lot of people are fragile because they can't handle uncertainty or change. So they're fragile and brittle. And then you have some that are resilient, so they bounce back to who they were. And then you have those that are robust that can really just handle anything like a stone in a storm. But then you have anti-fragile and those that take what happens to them and turn it into growth, which is where the real mastery comes in.
yeah.
Tell me your view on uncertainty and those concepts there.
Well, everyone uncertainty that's part of life, right? But it's how
Yeah.
you perceive it makes a difference.
Mm.
So it's focusing, noticing what you're noticing when uncertainty comes in your life. Is a limiting belief? Is it blocking from my true desires? You have to just dissect every moment of your life. And if you're in a, I stop. I haven't had TV for probably 5 years. I know that
Mm.
sounds weird, but I just don't like the noise.
Mm.
You know, because how can you receive something if your dial is off the channel or if it's fuzzy?
Yeah.
How can you really get what inspiration you need to live the life you really want? You have to be focused, laser focused on what you want and feel it and actually assume law of assumption. You have to assume that you already have it. So
Yeah.
live your life as you have it. So if I want to be the $1,000,000 Cindy, I need to live my life, not that I have to go out and spend money that I have $1,000,000, but I need to live like $1,000,000. What would they do? They'd be calm. They'd be relaxed. They'd be
Mm.
happy. They'd be doing nice things for people. They would be just relaxing their life. That's the state I want to be. Because then it will flow to me because I'm already able to receive it.
Mm. Let's talk about abundance and gratitude because you hit on this and man, this show is flying by. But gratitude is the foundation of all abundance, according to Eckhart Tolle. And
Yes,
then you go into abundance, which is the default nature of the universe, that all things that we need to for any creation are already here. It's up to us to transform them from their current form to what we have in mind.
that's
And
right.
so there is no limit of resources or even accessibility, that we can find accessibility to those things we need to create what we want to create, right?
Right.
And
There's so much
gratitude helps us
abundance
see
in the
it.
world. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, there's so much abundance in the world. We just have to know that, it'll flow to us. We just have to really focus on that
Mm,
concept. And gratitude, when you display gratitude, when you say, I am grateful for whatever you have, for the abundance I have, for the health I have, for the wealth I have,
yeah,
whatever you're grateful for, I am, that's in the scriptures. So I am grateful for whatever you have. But when you have gratitude, that solidifies that you already have it.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
living in the moment that you already have it. So you're not when once you say, "Oh, I hope," or people say, "I wish," or that means you have a limiting belief of a lack that you don't have.
yeah,
You're blocking it from coming to you. How can you need to be open and have it so it's flowing to you? It will come to you as a vessel quicker, and we can. That's why people, when they manifest, they get frustrated because they say, "Oh, I manifest all the time that I'm gonna be this," but they're not living in the state that they're grateful they already have it. You need to be in that state that you already have it and expect it. It's going to come to you.
yeah. Well, so the idea of scarcity, right? The idea of scarcity is a fear response. It's
Yeah.
the limitation of the universe, which isn't the case. Wayne Dyer
No,
says that abundance isn't something you acquire, it's something you tune into. So it's
that's right.
always there, right?
There's so much
Gratitude helps you
abundance,
to see it. It just
right?
helps you to see it.
And when you're
So,
grateful for the small things, God will bring you bigger things.
mm,
So just be grateful for the small miracles in your life. And I'll give you an example. I had when Ken died, my husband died. It was my first Valentine's without him. And I have at that time I had 8 grandkids. I have
mm,
10 now, but I he collected $2, you know, dollar bills. He had a money jar, so I fished out money jars and I went and got a $2 bill from the bank for all the grandkids. And I went to got some cards and I wrote a Valentine card from Ken from
uh-huh,
Grandpa. I said, "This is a lucky $2 bill in the card." Grandpa.
yeah.
I went to the cemetery and I talked to him. I said, "Hey, you better make those lucky or I'm gonna come up there and kick your butt." Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just being funny. So
yeah.
I go home 5 minutes. I'm home 5 minutes. And doorbell knocks. I have a knock on the doorbell. 100 flowers is there with a dozen assorted roses and a card and a teddy bear that says, "To my Valentine, hope you have a warm, wonderful day. Love, Ken." And it's from I was like, "Who sent this to me?" I was just at the cemetery. He only sent me flowers. He must have got a message. So I called my kids, I called my daughter, and I said, "Who sends it?" She goes, "Mom, I did. Dad told me what to say. I paid for it."
Mm,
And I says, "No way." I said, she was in California at the time. I says, "Courtney, this is not this is I told her all about the $2 bill and I was home 5 minutes and this came and she's, "Mom, we are the DMV in California with her son, and a stranger came up to her and handed her a $2 bill and said, 'This is
oh
lucky.
my
Give it to him
gosh.
when he's older.'" So synchronicities happen, and just recognizing the tender mercies
Hmm,
and gratitude brings you more.
yeah.
When you're aware, notice what you're noticing of your circumstances, more flow to you.
Tell
So
me
just being
about
aware.
Tell me about surrender. Like, that's incredible, like, the connections and how miracles and creations like that don't care about time. Like, you go
No,
home 5 minutes, but that was already in process before you got there, right?
exactly. Right?
Yeah. And then you talk about surrender, and I love Michael Singer's work on surrender, and it's a letting go of how it comes about or when it comes about. It doesn't mean it's not doing, like you're not doing anything. It's just simply you
It's
don't really have a
flowing.
say in the
And
what or the how or the when, you know?
right.
You do have in the what, right? The vision?
But I will tell you, the more that you recognize those little things and be grateful for them and verbally communicate that,
Mm.
and show that in everything you interactions and all you do and interact with people. The more you get in your life, the more
Yeah.
the flow. I mean, that was one thing. I've just had so many things happen where I know this world is a three-dimensional world. So the atoms and molecules of everything are going smaller,
Yeah.
slower, so it's a solid surface. But above that is the four-dimensional field and beyond. So how do we bring our thoughts and the four-dimensional field into our three-dimensional real world? Well, that's the secret right there. It's going to be your gratefulness and your vision of your wish fulfilled, like living it and feeling it.
I like it. Let's talk about impact and legacy. You know, the legacy comes from the Latin legatia. It's our 12th journey. And what we do is we don't necessarily do coaching around it. We do more of a training of an operating system when we do the 12 journeys. It's helping you to see the pathway to becoming that inner giant. And when you look at legacy as the final journey, it's the fruit of our efforts. It's the impact and the ripple we get to make in the world, whether we see the results or not. And I would love for you to talk about the importance of legacy and purpose and meaning in your life and how that guides and directs every step you take. And or does it? Maybe it doesn't for you.
Legacy is really important because I just think that we all have something to give.
Mm,
We're here for a reason. We just have to know our why and our how.
mm,
And once we have a vision and we map it out and just know that everyone has something to give. You know, we can all give a smile to someone, they hold a door. It's amazing how when we step out of our world and we help other people and create a legacy, our problems become small.
mm.
So once you get in the habit of creating a legacy and just being the person you really want to be remembered in your life, that it just it's really addictive because you really want to do more.
It's really addicting.
It
Yeah,
is. It's a nice thing, right?
yeah. Yeah, I like that comment there. What do you think of that? I just get to
Well,
live as I'm
I just
creating.
wrote one quick little thought I had is in the world today, there's so much fear. Why do we hear about fear? Because fear is they can control. So when you have fear, you're controlled.
Mm,
And if we realize that what we're hearing in the noise in the world today is all fear and control, but we have more control because there's more of us than the few that
yeah,
can try to control things in our life, we gain our control back because once if everyone came together, there's more of us than them. If we just shine a light, we have nothing to fear.
yeah,
We can fear ourselves, right?
yeah. I like that. So that control, that's part of not letting go is the reason we do control is we're afraid. We're
Yeah,
afraid. And
yeah,
that's where control comes from. So when we can let go and just trust it, which has to have a confident expectation that it's going to happen, then we let go of that control and trying to need to mandate every step of the way for it to happen. How
right.
how could you have predicted that you would have won that motorcycle by a step-by-step process that you control?
Well, I didn't, and I realize now that how I won it, I can do it again in
Mm,
anything in life. If I want something, so I know how to do it. I just have to follow the steps
yeah, you wouldn't be
and
where you
and
are
not have
today.
control because you have to not control it. You have to trust in the process.
So
Plant the seed, and trust in the process.
I like that. I like the planting the seed idea, right?
I know
Little
you do.
shameless turn that upside down there. It's
Yeah,
plant that seed and trust the process. Um, because it's gonna play out the way it needs to play out. That seed, once it's planted, already has the engineering for the outcome.
right.
Yeah. Cindy, if there was something else that we could share today that maybe we didn't touch on yet that you think would be important for this message, what comes to mind?
Trust in yourself. Trust your gut. You
Okay.
know, your gut feels it before your brain. So if it feels wrong, it's wrong. And if it comes in, just make sure you block it and go back to your spot.
I like that. So trust your gut. Tell us about what that might look like.
So when you have something happen and you feel kind of queasy in your stomach, like you have these emotions come up, you like sadness, or someone says something and you take it personal, and you're
Mm,
just like, it doesn't feel right. If it doesn't feel right, it's not right. It's wrong. Just trust your gut that it's not true. Just say
mm.
it's not true. I'm going
And
back to my spot.
so if somebody says something and you take it personal, that might be a fear of what you think they might be thinking, or what might that be?
It's a limiting belief of something from your past, obviously,
Mm,
right? So you just have to just know that once that comes into your stomach and you're like, oh, it feels horrible, and you're like, what if it's true? You don't want to say it, what if it's true, because you want to immediately say that's not true.
mm,
Because if it feels wrong in your stomach, like they're saying something mean to me and it doesn't feel right, just simply say that's not true.
mm.
Block it off. Say that's not true. It's not.
And redirect it. A lot of people think they have to stop their thoughts or keep them from happening, otherwise they're doing it wrong. And that's
No,
not the case. You just have to redirect it, rewrite that narrative.
recognize it. Just say that's not
Yeah,
true. Say it. That's not true, and just wish in your mind, think in your mind your wish fulfilled. This is
yeah,
my life. This is me.
yeah,
You are who you want to be. That's fine.
that's it. Rich Litvin, one of my mentors, said that vision isn't where you're going, it's what's coming from you.
That's right.
And who
You,
you think you are is what's creating your outer world. So who do you think you are? And how
yeah.
do we shift that if it's not working for you?
You have to
Right?
notice what you're noticing and just try and block it off and go back to your spot.
Hmm.
Go back to your
Yeah.
happy.
So
You
yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. Finish out your thought there.
No, you just don't want to be um, in a bad spot. And so, yeah, a lot of people want, and I tell them how easy it is to IBMS. They're like, well, how did you get in a wheelchair? How did you change your life around? I kept a health journal in college. I wrote down all the stuff I did, all my activities, because it's gravity. It's the law of gravity. Whatever you put in your body, you get out. So what you eat, what you do, what you feel, that's if you feel crummy a few days after something happens, it's all linked and you can fix it. But a lot
Mm,
of people want a pill to fix things in life. They don't want to do the hard work. They don't want to admit that it might be something I created. Well, yeah, it's probably something you created, but they don't want to admit, and they want to change. They want to change the habit they've had all. But that's the key to escape. The
can I
freedom
sp
is right there.
yeah, can I speak to that a little bit?
Go ahead.
Yeah, the idea that they don't wanna change it, um, the brain is incredibly powerful at what it does, and its primary job is energy conservation. So when we've established neural pathways that are just so efficient, it's the brain craves that efficiency, that automation. We
Right,
process about 11 million bits a second of information non-consciously, and only 50 consciously. So we're facing a behemoth that wants automation. So when we go to face something new, there's 10,999,950 bits of information that are overpowering us. So it's not that
right.
we don't want to, our brain is energetically fighting us to not do it. So we have to slow down and really say, no, that 50 bits to me is like being the rider on the elephant. I'm the rider and I get to control where this elephant goes. So we're going to use that 50 bits to direct that, even if it doesn't want to.
So you're right. The brain's in survival. It wants the old self back. It doesn't want change. So if you really
Yeah,
want to change, you have to rewrite it, and you
you
have
have
to
to
take it.
rewrite it.
And how you do it is those simple steps. You have
Mm,
to understand you have the habit of control, but your brain doesn't want you to realize you can control your outcome.
it would rather be lazy. It's
Yeah,
like, I don't want to do that. Even if it's good for you, I don't want to do it. We'd rather have the pill, right?
right. You gotta just it's easy to do, right? You don't want to put effort and time into it. But really the journey, the joy is in the journey.
Yeah, I love that.
When you really realize your power and the power you have on other people, your energy will radiate out among you and people will feel it. And you can
Yeah,
really change the world one person at a time.
I like that. So,
So
Cindy, any final thoughts here before we wrap up? What would you like to say to the viewer, the person across the screen?
don't give up hope,
Mm,
because everyone has a light and we can really make a difference in the world. We all shine our light and
I
help
like
each other.
that.
We're all in the same water, the same projection of life. We have different both sizes and shapes, but we're all the same destination.
I
So we have
love it.
to realize that it's okay to be in a different boat than someone else. We're just all in the same destination.
I love
I had
that.
a man in rehab tell me he was a really rich millionaire in New York City on the stock exchange. And he says, my whole life I sacrificed my health for money. And I realized I can't buy it back. So
Mm,
just health is wealth. Take pride in yourself, your mental health, your physical health, your whole thing, mind, spirit, and body. That's your health.
I love
It's,
that.
so it's
I
a
love
three-legged tool. You can do it.
it. And if you don't think you can, come back and watch this video again
Just
because it's it. I mean, you've shown the pathway from complete despair and frustration and life not going the way that you thought it should be scripted to learning how to step by step retrain that story so that you could be who you are today, right?
that's right. That's right. You write the story, you write the script. We're
Yeah.
just eh, we need to make a decision to go for it and just trust our gut,
Yeah.
trust
Just do
ourselves.
that.
Because I'm no different than you, your audience members. We all have an innate nature of a spark. We're all unique and they're special. We all
Yeah.
have, and I just think that we all have that
I believe that.
capability of making a difference.
Yeah. I
Just
believe
believe
that
in yourself. You got this. If I can do it, you can do it.
too. And when you forget, come back and watch this
Come
dang
back and
video,
watch it. Just say,
right?
I believe in you 100%.
Yeah. So yeah, Lori, go back and watch it from the beginning. She is a great energy, just a really good spirit here. For those that are watching, if you know somebody that could use this message today, please share this link with them. You can go to YouTube to our channel and grab the link on YouTube and share it with them. And I didn't realize this, but when you subscribe on YouTube, a lot of people think, oh, if I subscribe, I got to pay for it. But
No.
that's not the case. It's free. It's free to subscribe. So if you haven't subscribed to YouTube, there's no cost for you to do that. But you have access to all of our videos and you see when we go live every single dang time.
And I've
And
noticed too that sometimes when you subscribe, double check that because sometimes the bell icon won't be lit up. Make sure you're notified. Just double
yeah,
check
do
that.
that. Do that. Help us grow this channel and this message and share Cindy's message with those people that you know that could use this and help them to see what she's seeing here and what she's sharing. We know from the 12 journeys and the giants and the smalls here, the giants framework is that we all have the ability to rewrite these stories and make them whatever we see or whatever we'd like to see in the world. And so go do that. For you, the viewer, thank you so much for being a part of this. Connect with Cindy at Cindy Oppel at msn.com. She'll answer and respond. So send her a message and say, hey, I saw your show today. Make sure you comment and say, hey, what your thoughts were about the show. And as always, share it with somebody else. So we're grateful. Go make it a giant day. And we will see you in the next video.